Awesome.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And let's be honest, we're all excited about this Avengers Infinity War trailer. And it's probably the only reason you're here. None of this other news matters this week. We have more news, but we're all here for Infinity War and more.
Yes, that is true. Man, this trailer came out of nowhere. We're going to talk about it here momentarily. I wouldn't say out of nowhere. I guess we had a specific date that we thought it was going to drop, and it came sooner, so we're all pleasantly surprised by that.
That's right. I mean, how do you kick off December and end November with an Infinity War trailer that nobody was really expecting?
Yeah, that's right. And we got some other news to talk about too. But, you know, I'm thinking of the words that I say in the intro here where I say we love TV, movies, and superheroes. You know, I say we love TV, but man, am I behind on a lot of TV. You are so much better at this than I am. Like the Runaways are out. Legion's been out forever. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just came back on Friday. Like, these are all things that I desperately want to and need to watch. But for other reasons, my wife and I, we crammed in the Crisis on Earth X, which I think we're going to talk about towards the back half of our show today. But yeah,
I mean, you watch the DC stuff a little more than I do because I kind of gave up. Arrow wasn't my thing. The Flash got repetitive. I probably should give Legends of Tomorrow more time, but it got a pretty rocky start off. What's the fourth show they have out? Oh, Supergirl. Yeah, I don't watch Supergirl.
Yeah, and then Black Lightning's coming out, and then another show too, Titans, soon.
Yeah.
So I guess it's good that there's two people manning this show. You can kind of helm that Marvel stuff over there, make sure it's holding tight. I'll watch as much DC stuff as I can, and then between the two of us, we still won't watch Gotham.
That's right. I know a lot of people like it. A lot of people might be tuning off of it. I don't know. I forget that's on actually until you just said that.
Well, it was funny. I saw a sponsored tweet. For like it was either like some sort of DC like a website where you go and stream the DC shows, and I was really confused. I was like, wait, is this like some sort of soft rollout for the DC streaming app that they didn't announce? This is very strange. And then I click on it, and it's just this simple web page of all of the DC shows, and I think you just like click on the poster and it takes you to a place to watch it. So it's probably just some sort of fancy landing page. But I was like, I saw Gotham on there, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Gotham is a DC show. Just nobody remembers. It's on Fox. No one's watching it.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot going on, and some people talk about. I mean, I haven't heard this phrase in a while, but superhero fatigue.
Oh yeah.
And while I don't believe superhero fatigue is real in the movie universe yet, TV wise, man, is there a lot to watch? Like,
yeah.
I mean, nothing against it, but when we watched Justice League and Punisher in the weekend, I'm like, can I really sit down and watch more of this stuff like in a row? Like, what's going on? So I mean, I totally understand. Like, you can't really watch everything on TV. So
I think that superhero fatigue kind of gets lumped in more with just TV fatigue in general. Like, because like you said, I don't think it's much of an issue in the movies right now, because I think we're in this interesting point in Hollywood in the movie landscape where I don't think really a superhero movie is just like a thing that's hot and popular right now. You know, like back in the day, it was like, oh, vampires is really hot. You know, superheroes will go the way of vampire movies. Just give it a chance. I think the superhero movie is almost it's defined. It's like genre. It's gonna be like westerns, you know, or it's like horror movies. Yeah, like let's watch these horror movies. Let's watch these western movies. Oh, let's watch these superhero movies. It just seems to be a very distinct genre, and usually there's like a hero involved. At some point there's an origin story, and then there's like superpowers involved, or like, you know, in the case of Batman, maybe something else. But yeah, I think it's more of just a distinct genre, which I think fatigue, it's really hard to set in, you know, because if like there's always like Western movies coming out, you know, whether they're TV shows or movies, or there's always like fantasy movies coming out, like Lord of the Rings is coming back as a TV show, you know, I think that stuff can persist. You know, I think, but yeah, on TV, TV fatigue, it's hard to get around. There's only so many hours in a day.
Exactly. And what I mean, and people may disagree with me, what I really don't like is Netflix's drop every episode at once mentality. I enjoy like the scheduling and like, okay, I only have to watch one episode this week. Kind of scheduling like that Runaways and Shield kind of allows, and
yeah,
the
it's
other
funny.
CW shows.
We never thought that binging thing would backfire, because back when Netflix was binging stuff, we were just like, oh, this is nice because there's only like 3 Netflix originals, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, now HBO is dropping stuff, and now Hulu, and it's like, whoa. Now it's just like, now I need the corporate overlords to drip it out slower so I can consume it. You're just overstuffing me. This buffet, it's too rich.
That's right. Exactly. That's exactly. You know, we're complaining about good problems. So, you know, we've had some low quality movies and TV shows this year. We've had some high quality stuff as well. So, but really, we're just kind of delaying the inevitable here, Mike. Avengers Infinity War. This trailer is here, and we have thoughts and opinions and feelings, mostly feelings. Like, it's hard to describe this trailer. You mentioned we watched it right before the show, and how, I mean, much like Spider-Man and his arm hair in this trailer, when the Avengers theme song plays, the hair on the back of my neck tingles, and you're like, oh my gosh, we're here. This is it. 10 years, and we're only on, you know, Avengers 3 of 4 coming up. So
it's almost like you forgot that there was an Avengers theme even to begin with. So it's just really nice to see it come back, because, you know, Civil War came out, and to me that's just an amazing Ultron and Avengers replacement. You pretty much got all the heroes that you want in it, an awesome storyline. It could have just been called Avengers 3 and no one would have batted an eye. But, you know, they didn't have that iconic theme that played in that movie. So like when it comes back, you're just like, oh man, that just feels awesome. I mean, I don't know about you, but since I'm out here on the West Coast, you know, this trailer was already live when I woke up in the morning to get ready for my day and head out the door. So the first thing I did was, I'm not going to wait until I get to where I need to go to sit down and watch this trailer. I got right out of bed. I walked right to my TV. I put this trailer up. I have this thing where I get the trailer up on YouTube, turn annotations off right away, make sure it's on 1080p widescreen, and I just hit play, and I just ingested it into my eyeballs as quickly as I could get it in there. And then the second it was over, I hit replay and I watched it right over again. Yeah, like I didn't even give myself time to just like digest what I just watched. I was like, nope, I'm watching it again. So that was a great way to start my morning.
That's exactly kind of how, I mean, it aired on Good Morning America, so I was getting ready for work, and then it kind of landed as I was putting on my shoes to leave. And so I did the same thing. I went to our bedroom, put it on the bedroom Apple TV, and just watch it on full gloriousness. Like, I'm not watching on my phone while I'm sitting in my car on the way somewhere. Like,
oh God, who would do that?
Yeah, like I get like the impatience with it, but you've gotta experience this trailer is the way I would say it. And honestly, from what it sounds like, we're both very happy, and they did not disappoint at all.
Yeah, I mean, we got pretty much everything that you wanted to see. You get to see Cap coming back with his beard. You obviously get to see Thanos interacting with the Infinity Gauntlet. I thought it was cool that we actually got to see him put the stones in the gauntlet. You know, I like those little bits of detail there. The Iron Spider suit is out in full force, jumping around. You kind of get the feel. It looks like there's a couple locales. There seems to be some sort of big battle happening in Wakanda. But yes. I will tentatively say Wakanda just because, like the Thor Ragnarok trailer, they will hot swap locations on you from the trailer to the final movie very easily. So it probably still will be Wakanda, because I think you talked about, you think maybe one of the last Infinity Stones is hidden in there.
Do I ever? This felt so good to be like, oh my gosh, this theory that I just thought up while talking one day actually could come true.
Yeah. One thing that I am worried about, and I'm actively trying to stop my mind from going there, is, since I've seen this trailer so many times now, I'm trying to put all the scenes together chronologically, which is kind of dangerous, because then I start to get close to thinking, oh, well, once they get to Wakanda, I know that's the third act, or is it going to be the third act? Is there a locale they're not showing us where the final showdown is? And I don't like doing that. I think I may have accidentally done that with one of the past Avengers movies, and I put just too much of it together in my head. And when I went to the theater, I still had a great time, but I was telegraphing everything a little too easily. So I'm trying to keep my mind from putting the puzzle pieces together too much. But I don't think the trailer gave away too much. I just have an overactive imagination.
Well, I also think, with the ability of manipulating time in this universe as an effect, any of this could be anywhere. To be honest. So
yeah, I mean, that's true. We got a lot of sorcerers in this trailer, way more than I would say almost any other kind of standard Avengers character. Obviously, you got your Iron Mans and your Captain Americas, but like we saw Doctor Strange and his buddy. I forgot his buddy's name. Wong. Yeah, we saw Strange and Wong all over this trailer doing magic. And if you were to go back and look at the San Diego Comic-Con footage, that surprisingly is out there on YouTube. We could have watched this a while ago, back in September, and we didn't even know. There's more sorcerer going on with like platforms and Star-Lord jumping off it. So yeah, I think like if Avengers 3, aka Infinity War, is going to focus a lot on Earth. I think it's going to have a lot of the sorcerers on it. And then, of course, yes, Avengers 4 is still a movie being made. It is not the ultimate Avengers climax of this phase. It is going to be Avengers 4. I feel like that's maybe going to lean into all the other characters we haven't seen, like Ant-Man, Captain Marvel. Mm-hmm. I have a sneaking suspicion that even though we saw the Guardians in this trailer, that they maybe aren't going to be showing up until like the very end of the third act with Thor. Since like Thor is like a big, strong dude, you don't want him going up against Thanos like right away at the beginning of the movie, because I feel like maybe,
I'm gonna go against it because you have to, because this trailer gives us two things here. Mm-hmm. Loki has the Tesseract.
Yes.
Thanos has the Tesseract stone in his gauntlet. So if Loki is with Thor on the ship, I think this is going to happen a lot earlier than you think it is.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, because the Guardians do pick Thor up, so there's got to be some sort of damage and destruction that causes him to fly out into space.
Yeah, and I believe we have a Vanity Fair article that came out on Monday as well before this trailer. You get to see, I know they misdirect, but Thor has his original hammer with him in that. Mm-hmm. Now, will he be making a new weapon in I guess it says the Star Forge is what I think it was called, is where it was made. He could be making a new weapon in this. That could be his journey. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it'll maybe the Guardians and Thor will be like the B storyline throughout the movie, and they'll just be out in space trying to prepare themselves to go to Earth.
I think C storyline, because we've got a Cap team and an Iron Man team, and judging by this Captain America team, they're fighting an army of Outriders that looks fantastic.
Yeah, I had to text you when I saw those Outriders, because I was like, hey, are these the same thing that we saw in that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. trailer? And I was like, I feel like this would be almost too clever to have the same villain in both shows, because I know the TV universe and the movie universe doesn't play that well together, so I don't think they would also have the same villains.
No, the ones in S.H.I.E.L.D., which we'll talk about later, are very, very D-list characters, like very, very minor. But someone did send me an article from Entertainment Insider, and they this is why you shouldn't believe anyone who puts things on the internet. They mislabeled them as Chitauri again, and I'm like, did you even look at them? Like, they have 4 arms and nasty teeth. Now, I get it, they're alien hordes, but those are not Chitauri by any means.
Yeah, different alien hordes, people. Get up on your alien hordes.
That's right. Kind of going through this, we also get to see the return of the Hulkbuster armor, which we have not seen since Age of Ultron. It's got some more gold in it, and popular theory is that it's not Tony Stark piloting it.
Oh, really?
That we see Bruce Banner working on the arm of it at the beginning of the trailer.
Oh, yeah, we did.
And maybe this is, again, no clue here, maybe he can't turn into the Hulk, or doesn't want to turn into the Hulk, or has separated from the Hulk. I don't know.
Oh, that would be really, really interesting, because
the end of the trailer is just the Hulk running with everybody, but if he's the Hulk, why would he need the Hulkbuster?
I don't know. I could kind of see it as like, he really just doesn't want to turn into a Hulk. He's just very dangerous. He can't control himself. He could say like, hey, I was the Hulk for years on this freaking planet being used as basically a battle slave. I don't want to be this green guy anymore. And Tony's just like, well, hey, why don't you just take the Hulkbuster armor? I like that idea. That's clever. Mm-hmm. Chris, you're clever. I like it.
I'm trying. Well, the last time we did see Bruce Banner, I want to say spoilers for Thor Ragnarok, but if you haven't seen it, this trailer is full of them anyway. Bruce Banner was the Hulk at the end of that movie. And what it appears to be at the beginning of this is that he gets thrown to Earth somehow and lands in the Sanctum Sanctorum with the sorcerers you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, well, I think, this is another thing where I'm piecing too much together, but I feel like what's going to happen is maybe he will land on Earth, maybe run amok, and then Tony and the sorcerers will have to come wind him down to get him back to normal. So I don't think he's just going to conveniently land in the Sanctum Sanctorum. Unless they start to see him coming in, we have an asteroid coming into Earth. Wait, that's no asteroid, that's a Hulk or something.
Well, let me lay a theory on you here, because this scene with him laying in the Sanctum Sanctorum, from our screenshot gallery you can take a look at here, is the exact scene from the Infinity Gauntlet book, but the Silver Surfer was sent to Earth to warn them of Thanos. Oh. So the Hulk has taken that Silver Surfer role to say, hey, Thanos is coming, because If this is, again, I don't want to put too much in your head, Mike, here, but if Loki has a Tesseract, he could send Banner to Earth to warn everybody before Thanos takes the cube, and then sends Thor out in space the other way.
That's not a bad theory, because I was actually just about to bring up, it's going to be really kind of a kick in the nuts to Thor Ragnarok if you just turn around and you start to make Loki a bad guy, a backstabber again, because even Thor in that movie says, Loki, you're very predictable. We know you're just gonna turn on somebody at the last minute. It's not clever anymore. Stop doing it. So it's just I don't think we can just have Loki turn into a bad guy yet again. I think it's fine for him to have shades of gray to kind of keep looking out for himself. I don't expect him to become a hero in any means, but it's hard to imagine him willingly giving over the Tesseract to Thanos, or I've been a double agent the whole time. I've always been working for Thanos to give him this. It's just no, Loki's too selfish. He wouldn't do that unless he was getting something out of it. And I think he kind of redeemed himself a little bit by saving all of his people at the end of Ragnarok, I guess. Like you said, you should have seen Thor Ragnarok by now. Sorry, there's still a lot of awesome stuff in that movie, even if I did spoil the ending a little bit.
This movie definitely picks up from the end of that. So this trailer does. So even the eye patch on Thor. If you've not seen Ragnarok and you don't get the eye patch, you will understand the eye patch if you watch the movie.
Actually, no, I'll double down here a little bit. If you hadn't seen Thor and you just heard us saying all this awesome stuff about that movie, this is even more reason to go see Thor Ragnarok right now. I don't know why you haven't seen it. This is nothing but selling the movie.
It's true. It's true. There's a couple misdirects in this trailer I kind of want to point out, Mike, that I noticed. So there's a scene of some feet walking over some dead Asgardians, it looks like, right before it cuts to Loki with the Tesseract. Those feet are actually the leggings of Ebony Maw, one of the children of Thanos. That is not Loki's feet. Because if you match that up with the San Diego Comic-Con statues they had there, that's his exact clothes and boots that he's wearing. So
now that's the investigative journalism that I'm talking about, Chris.
Yes, that's one of them. Also, later we see the Vision. We mentioned that a little bit. Two versions, a human version and the robot version. And he looks like he's getting his stone torn out of his head. Which we assume will be a big deal. Will he live or die? Nobody knows. That's a big debate online. Is he going to live or die? But we see two pairs of feet on him. One is Corvus Glaive, one of the Ebony Maw, and the other one's Proxima Midnight, who is the one who throws the spear at Captain America. That he catches, probably much to their dismay.
And we do see Black Widow holding a spear at some point in the trailer, so I could assume that maybe they're all in whatever crazy action scene is happening, because that's basically Black Widow's power, is to take stronger weapons from other people and use them against you.
Exactly, and protect probably the strongest person on Earth at this point in time.
Yeah,
the Vision. So that's really cool. And then there's a lot of I've seen a lot of people kind of parody Thanos and his look in this movie. And while that's true, my job is to take photos and color correct them. So I've gone through and color corrected some of these screenshots. And he's still very much the dark purple we've seen before, but this orange glow is making him come across as an orangey purple, I guess. Like a very lighter purple, which is
I'm not trying to call people stupid out there, but it's just have you never seen one object in a colored lighting and the same object in different lighting? He's just gonna change colors depending on the lighting. He's not like some weird chameleon.
Exactly. And then some of the background on this orange planet, and at the beginning there's two suns. One planet we know has two suns. Mike, can you guess which planet that is? It's not Tatooine. I know you want to say Tatooine.
I can't think of, because the only planet I could probably draw up would be like one from Guardians, but I can't think of any of the planets' names in Guardians.
Xandar.
Yeah, that's what it was, with the Nova Corps.
Yeah, it orbits 2 suns, and notice he has the purple stone. So I think maybe some of this battle takes place on Xandar. Trying to get the purple, or maybe it's a misdirection. Maybe he doesn't have a purple stone, and they're going to recolor these stones for us.
Yeah, I mean, they could. I just can't, like, I don't want to say, like, I can't trust Marvel, but, like, they're sneaky like that. They're sneaky, and I appreciate that, because, like, they know that this trailer is to create hype, and it's not necessarily to give you exactly what you're going to see in the movie. Mm-hmm. And also, sometimes I think it's not intentional. They just end up changing things by the time the movie comes out. But whatever, it totally worked. This is the most viewed trailer of all time, which is amazing.
That within 24 hours, it knocked it. I watched the Wikipedia article for like YouTube views, and then at one point they couldn't even keep track of it, and it just said "Give this man a shield" from the trailer, which is a great line. I mean, we get to see Black Panther. We get to see Bucky. Bucky returns. There's so many characters in this trailer, Mike, and it's hard to pick them all out of a lineup here because they're just giving us everybody all at once.
Yeah, I guess it makes me wonder if this is Bucky's first appearance to re-showing, or maybe if he's going to show up in Black Panther again. I think it'd be cool if he did, but maybe they could save him for this awesome movie that's only going to come out like maybe a couple months after Black Panther drops, so we don't have a whole lot of time to wait afterwards.
I don't think he's in Black Panther. I think they said that he's not in it, but again, they could lie to us. I'd be okay if they lied to us.
Sounds like a good after-credit scene. Maybe that's just where the Winter Soldier thrives, is in the after-credit scenes, because he's been in like 3 of them now.
Exactly. And then again, we talk about the San Diego Comic-Con trailer. There is a lot more Guardians in that trailer than there is this one. And we get to see Doctor Strange and Star-Lord team up. So I'm thinking, we're going to see 2 big battles happening at once, Mike. Once on this orange planet, and with the sorcerers, Tony Stark, Spider-Man, who got chokeslammed, knocked the fuck out, and then maybe in Wakanda somewhere along the way. I don't know. Yeah. We don't know, and I don't want to feed your imagination, but we literally can't pinpoint where a lot of this stuff goes down.
Yeah. I have to say, I am looking forward to the emotional moments in this movie, which I think what makes a movie, honestly. I'm looking forward to Star-Lord coming back to Earth for the first time in a long time, just like taking it in. I'm sure he'll make a joke about it. He'll probably see somebody carrying around like an iPhone and maybe make a joke about future technology. Who knows?
He's like, I have a
Zoom. Yeah, exactly. There'll probably be awesome moments where we see Cap again for the first time. I don't know if him coming out of the shadows is going to be a reveal or not, because that's kind of ruined because we saw it in the trailer. But we know he's not dead. This isn't some sort of like Superman Returns type of scenario. We know he's out there, kind of being like a secret Avenger. So that'll be cool to see him rear his head again. Maybe see what the moment's like for him to see Tony for the first time since their fight. I'm sure that'll be pretty tense. It'll be cool to see Doctor Strange interacting with more characters. So there's lots of firsts that are going to be happening in this movie.
Yeah, a lot of firsts and probably a lot of lasts too. According to that Vanity Fair article, Avengers 4 is going to be the finale of this first, I guess, 3 phases of Marvel. Like, we're going to be able to distinguish what Avengers 4 before was and what is after Avengers 4. Even though some plot threads will carry through, according to Kevin Feige, who crawled out of his hole and did his interviews this week.
Yeah, and I think that's really important to note that Avengers 4, that is really going to be the culmination of all of the work that they've been doing. But unfortunately, I think maybe just the casual consumer out there of these movies might end up getting a little confused. Because, I mean, Chris, if you don't keep track of this stuff as detailed as we do, like literally every week we're on top of the news like no one's business. If you're just a casual person out there, you would watch this trailer and think like, all right, that's it. They're wrapping it up. I mean, come on, look at all the people they put in this trailer. This has got to be it. They're not realizing that Ant-Man's not in there. They don't know that Captain Marvel's supposed to be coming out. So... Yeah. And they kept telling us over and over again that this is not a 2-parter. I know we have, at first we said it was part 1 and part 2, but this is going to be its own standalone movie. It's going to be its own thing. But it's just like, well, I don't know. A lot of things in this movie seem to be reaching towards a part 2. We're showing his gauntlet, and we're seeing that it holds these specific number of Infinity Stones. I don't know if we assume he's going to get the last one at the end of this movie or not, but I feel like there's going to be lots of loose ends at the end of this movie that's just begging for a part 2. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how they're going to craft this movie, because they've tripled down on saying that. I feel like this is its own movie. So I'm curious what's going to happen, because it's like you can do a cliffhanger, and I'm totally fine with cliffhangers. I don't mind it. But you got 2 movies in between it. You got Ant-Man and Captain Marvel. So I mean, like, if the Earth is going to be just on the precipice of destruction because Thanos finally got all the Infinity Stones and we're on this cliffhanger, I don't know how Ant-Man is just going to be casually going around trying to heist something from like a store or something. I don't know what's happening in that movie, while Thanos is on the other side of like the planet, like destroying it and punching it to oblivion. So maybe there's just going to be different timelines. Captain Marvel makes sense because it's going to be in the 90s, so I don't have to worry too much about it. But I guess, like, where do you thread the needle? Where do you put Ant-Man in to where he's not worried about Thanos destroying his home planet, you know?
I don't know, and I think that's the beauty of all this, is we don't know a lot of it. And I love the secrecy. I love the shroudedness. Yes, we had some leak footage come out a couple weeks ago. I don't think you watched it, but...
No, but you told me in that leak footage that we did get to see the... What did you call them? The Children of Thanos in it?
We get to see at least one Children of Thanos, the Proxima Midnight. Most of that footage is not in this, actually. So I'm actually really impressed that none of that was in this. So I don't know where that came from. So that's out there. And I guess, I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know where this is going to be. We have to still see Black Panther before we figure out where everything is and why Wakanda is a very important part of this movie. But I do want to point out one thing. There's one more picture here with Tony Stark holding the flip phone from Civil War. I don't know if you saw that, but when he's in the Sanctum Sanctorum, he has his flip phone.
Oh, I didn't realize
to call Steve Rogers in his hand, lit up. So I think they may have to make up rather quickly in this movie. So, will they cross paths? We don't know, but at least he's gonna, call him on his cell phone, as Drake said in that song.
Yeah, I feel like, there's always people in your office that you hate, but you got to work with them anyway. So maybe that's what it's gonna be like between them.
Yeah. I mean that's the trailer. We've talked a lot about this trailer.
There was a lot to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about. So there's a Vanity Fair article. I'm not gonna break it down very easily, but like, people should read it. It's linked in our notes. I thought it was a great history, the past 10 years of Marvel, from their humble beginnings of Iron Man being an independent film to being like the $5 billion franchise it is today, and what I wouldn't give to work with those people. So sounds pretty good to me.
Well, you're either gonna have to move to Atlanta or move out here to LA, Chris.
Yeah, I know. Somewhere in between there. So that's awesome. And then also, just a reminder, Avengers Infinity War releases May 4th in the USA. 2 weeks earlier in most other countries.
Oh, bastards.
Yeah, so if you got tickets to Australia in April, you can go see it 2 weeks earlier. There's a list of countries that are getting it earlier than us. So I kind of get it, I guess. I don't get it because the spoilers are going to be everywhere online. We have to avoid the internet for 2 full weeks, if not more. So.
Yeah, I have a feeling that maybe they do this because, like, they want to do worldwide premieres, so they have to send the cast from location to location to location. But I think it's stupid. If you can, like, do a worldwide premiere of, like, Netflix shows on all across the world, like, just premiere the movie all across the world. We all want to see it at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, especially as something like, you're going to get your money. Like, there's no reason no one would go see this movie if it released in the same day. So I don't know. We'll keep you posted when tickets go on sale. I remember Avengers 1 had a 3 week early premiere that I got to go to in Chicago once. So maybe if they'll do something like that, and we'll keep you guys posted if those links become available.
That'd be sweet.
I know. You're closer out there to see those than I am, so cross fingers. Mike, Infinity War, anything else you want to add to this before we...
Man, I'm just in a whirly twirly just a world of Avengers, and I love it.
I did find a website that offers lossless compressed versions of trailers, and you actually get to see a lot more detail in it than you do on these.
Ooh, lossless. That's what I like to hear.
It's pretty sick, I've got to say. So I might send that link to you later and be like, do you notice a difference? Or is it just me? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. debuted on Friday, Mike.
Oh yeah, other stuff happened this week. I forgot.
Yeah, we've got a couple other things to talk about here. Not nearly as exciting, but S.H.I.E.L.D. is out. Season 5 debuted, 2-hour premiere. It'll be 9:00 on Fridays, which kind of a death note. But this debut pulls out all the stops, Mike. Like, this is not we're gonna be very cautious with Shield and play it safe. No, they're ripping down walls, Mike. This is, I don't know if it's desperation or just a new thing of creativity, but this one sends the team 90 years after the destruction of Earth. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
They send the team 90 years. So there's some sort of time travel something going on here.
Yes. Yes, there is. And we don't know what. But
whoa, interesting.
Yeah, so Earth is essentially destroyed, and you see it. So I'm thinking this is actually tied into Infinity War. Like, this is a timeline where Thanos or S.H.I.E.L.D. couldn't help the Avengers during Infinity War.
I mean, yeah, it would have to be. I mean, especially when you think about the release schedule of S.H.I.E.L.D., a full season is going to last until about May. So, like, that is, like, right when Infinity War comes out. So, yeah, it sounds like maybe they're teaming this up. Man, I should have watched this.
Yeah, so it's a two-parter. It's big. You learn a lot about this new world and this future they're kind of in. So, that's probably the biggest bit of news. So they don't tell you if it's Infinity War because apparently the history has been erased by these people who are now controlling the humans. So yeah, it's a wild ride, man. I'm glad I watched it. Like, I was
it sounds heavy, man. Yeah, I follow Clark Gregg on Twitter, and usually when a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episodes drops, he's like retweeting a bunch of things. And I saw he retweeted an article. I think it was about the ratings on Friday, and I think it said like Agents of premieres like strong or above average or something like that. So yeah, it seems like strong. Maybe they're not succumbing to that Friday night death slot quite yet.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it's always, the debuts are always the strongest, so we'll see how that holds up, if it has any, as we say in the business, legs. But there are no breaks. I think there are no breaks in the show until the season ends. Like, you don't have to worry about mid-season finales or 2-week breaks. I think it goes all the way up till April and May. Like,
damn,
they're giving it to us all the way through the end, man. So if this is the last season, this is the ride you want to be on. So
yeah, shun your family over the holidays. Watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. instead.
Just bring them all together. Just bring them. Well, the holidays are on Monday, so you can watch it. Don't forget your family. You're hanging out. Another show that supposedly I think will take the place of S.H.I.E.L.D. if S.H.I.E.L.D. ends is New Warriors. It's potentially been picked up for 2 seasons, Mike. That's what the networks were kind of wanting. Like, it was originally going to be on Freeform. Freeform couldn't find a slot for it. And they're like, if you pick it up, we want a commitment of 2 seasons. And the showrunner tweeted, #tweeted from a bar as I write season 2. But then he had to go change it back to just tweeted from a bar as I write. So we think someone has picked this show up, but they haven't announced what the network's going to be yet.
Oh, maybe. I guess it's possible. Yeah, I do like the idea of maybe it replacing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because it sounds like Marvel has this asset. They just don't know quite where to plug it in just yet. I am curious what the episode order for each season is, because 2 seasons sounds really impressive if you're talking about 2 23-episode runs, because that's a lot of show to make. But if it's just like, oh, well, it was going to be on ABC Freeform, and the first season was only going to be like 11 episodes, it's like, well, now 2 seasons seems just a little bit more modest, because it'd be more of a normal first season. So still, either way, that's awesome, because if it's getting renewed, that just means it's good. In some aspect, in some way, it's good, which is what we want.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that the reaction within the companies is like, yeah, this is great, we just don't know where to put it to make it, make sure it gets the light it needs. But the plan is supposedly to create a sub-MCU with this one, like kind of like the Defenders, like Runaways New Warriors will be like the first step in, like, okay, well, we have this like ground level stuff that we don't have to worry about the bigger MCU at large anymore. Kind of get away from that S.H.I.E.L.D. That S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of has that. They don't necessarily announce it every week, but they still kind of have that because Coulson was in the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
So they can go a little lower and do this. So if they got some hope in it, maybe we'll see New Warriors and some other smaller shows pick up. Maybe they'll do half, like 11 episodes, and then another show 11 episodes the following I guess, back half.
Yeah, this sub universe makes me think like they're into season 5 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and it would be funny if Agent Coulson like brings up again talking about like dealing with like the fighting alongside of the Avengers, and someone's just like, "Will you shut up? You've been telling that story for 5 years. It's not cool anymore. Did you do anything else interesting in the last 5 years? Talk about that, Coulson." He's still riding that high of the Avengers.
He's beating that dead S.H.I.E.L.D. agent with a stick, so to speak, because he died. Mm-hmm. Get it?
He died.
He
died.
Well, then now he's not dead. I don't know. Iron Fist is getting the season 2, Mike. Despite
boo,
you don't have to boo season 2. Shows get better. We can boo season 1. All right, all day long. But the season 2 has a new showrunner, and the villain may be a character called Lady Gorgon. The description of her role is a chameleon adept at playing roles and inhabits the part that best fits her mission. But in the comic books, she has a history with Frank Castle and the Hand, so that could tie a little bit this in together. My thoughts are, stop dealing with the Hand. We don't need any more magical ninjas, but it could be remnants of it that fight the Iron Fist. I don't know.
Yeah, I think these Netflix shows after the Defenders need to go the routes of kind of the Marvel movies where team ups are more natural and they just happen because it's very readily available. I mean, since they all know they exist now, they all know they live in the same city, so now it's logical for them to reach out to each other when they get into tough binds, and I think that's what's going to help elevate these shows, just like it helps elevate the movies. Like, don't just do it like, I know there's no sweeps weeks when it comes to Netflix, but like, don't just do it because you're trying to get more ratings. Do it just because it's natural and makes sense. So like we said, Thor Ragnarok, it was basically like a Hulk and Thor movie, even though it was Thor's movie. So even though it's Iron Fist season 2, just throw Luke Cage in there for like 80% of the episodes, and I'll like it a lot better.
Well, he's Iron Fist is in Luke Cage season 2, so I mean they've got that started, so it could definitely bleed over very easily. I don't know much about Iron Fist season 2. I know they have all the shows except I think the Punisher in production right now, or at least starting this month, December. So. They're moving right along on this, man. They're trying to get these out for that Disney streaming service comes along.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We got to complete this whole saga before Disney comes and sweeps in the characters.
Yeah, that's right, and takes them back and does better things with some of them. So, so the Iron Fist moving along. Whether you like the first one or not, I know people who did, but it's okay. You can be wrong, and we'll still like you.
Yeah, they can go ahead and go watch Justice League again too if they want.
That's right, or Gotham. They're probably watching Gotham, loving Gotham.
Yeah, there you go.
Runaways, Mike. Have you got a chance to watch the Runaways yet?
No, Chris. I said this at the beginning of the show. I'm a bad person. I haven't seen it yet.
That's fine. That's fine. It's on Hulu. It's weekly, so there's only 4 episodes out. Because the first one was a 3-part premiere. My wife and I watched the first 2 episodes, and she insists that I cannot watch anymore until she's around. So she's into this.
That's a vote of confidence.
Yeah. It's very much kind of tweeny. The first 2 episodes are very because the people in it are younger, like 15, 16-year-old people. But after I watched the first episode, I believe I went through and read the entire comic series like that same night because there wasn't a lot of the original run. So I'm into it. I don't know. Hopefully it gets a little more grown up. Less tweeny, but it's pretty all right so far.
Pretty all right so far, says Chris from superheroslate.com.
That's right. I would recommend Runaways if you have Hulu or get a free trial. But if you're gonna pay for it to watch and you don't have Hulu, wait till it's all done. I guess binge it so you're not paying several months worth of Runaways.
there you go. Ask for a Hulu gift card for the holidays.
Or get a new email with a 7-day trial. Hurry up and get them out.
Keep making new email addresses.
That's right. Just new numbers at the end every time. So Runaways is on, and that's a weekly show. So every Tuesday that comes out. So that'll appease me weekly. I'm like, okay, I don't have to watch all this at once.
Appease me, damn it.
That's right. You mentioned Legion at the top of the show, actually. And we have some news on Legion season 2. Actor, I think this Sayed Tajmawi. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
That's
I butchered
good
it.
Enough, man.
He was he was in Wonder Woman. He was the little guy with the mustache and the fez.
Okay. Yeah.
He was in Legion season 2 as the Shadow King, but they've since been filming since September, and he has left the show at this point with something new he said he's going to announce. But they may need to recast and refilm him, or maybe just have him merge into a new person.
Weird.
Back into the show. I don't know what they're going to do with this.
Yeah, usually there's contracts that stipulate, you finish out the show so either somebody bought him out. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, but they may need to refilm it. They may just, in the first season, he possessed different people. But with the February release, what they're shooting for here, they need to, I guess, make it work faster or push it back, one of the two. I don't know if I'd watch this movie in February. I don't know, or this TV show. It felt like a summer show to me last year, so I could be wrong. I don't remember. Do you remember? Do you remember, Mike?
Man, I've only seen one episode of Legion. I'm so far behind. It was a really good first episode. That pilot of Legion is solid.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Season 2's around the corner, Mike. You gotta get on that.
Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna break my leg so I don't have to do anything. I'm gonna sit down and watch TV all day.
I'm gonna do that thing where people doing it where they clap at you, like emphasis.
Oh yeah, are you talking about the clap emoji between every word?
Yeah, I mostly do it for syllables. Hello, okay. Mike. It doesn't work like that, but whatever. Legion is an interesting show because it is made by Fox and Marvel. Mike, did you know that's made by both companies?
Yeah.
And 20th Century Fox, apparently the studios have aggressively re-entered negotiations for Disney to buy Fox out.
Oh man.
At least the film and TV. At least the film and TV. We may get a confirmation or something announced before the year's end is how much they're moving for this. I think they're looking for their first movie or past Avengers 4 to be some of these Fox characters.
Well, they're wearing me down for sure, because I remember when we talked about this news a couple weeks ago, I was like really adamantly against it. I was just like, no, don't do it. Don't consolidate all this power. And now I'm just so worn down by just everything else going on in life that's just so much more important, like politics.
That is worse.
And that's just way worse. And I'm just like, I don't care. Just buy the X-Men, whatever. Do whatever you want. I'm busy trying to make sure the world doesn't fall apart. So I don't know. I guess there's more things that you could worry about in the world. I still don't like it. Well, just sell the X-Men off.
Well, the TV movies. I think again Disney wants them all for not to make movies, but for their streaming service. But Sony was also a contender in this, and I'm like, better Disney than Sony buying them up. So. Do you want the Sony people making your X-Men movies?
I guess you got a point.
Because what could be much worse than that, Mike? I mean, nothing.
I guess Illumination could buy them, and then they could cross paths with the Minions.
No. Only if it's rated R.
Yeah, just imagine the scene where the Minions are bald, and then also Professor X is bald. There could be something funny happening there, right?
No, there's not. Multiple Man turns into multiple Minions is what it is.
Oh, gross. No. Move on to the next. I'm tired of talking about this.
So the key of this deal is silence will be going forward. If you don't hear anything, probably something's happening. You're going to hear silence on both fronts. That's kind of what the people who've seen these kind of things happen, when the Marvel Sony thing did, they didn't say anything.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's the opposite of silence when they're letting stuff drop. I feel is almost intentional. They're let's let this news trickle out, see how the world reacts, see how the stocks react. If our investors like hearing this rumor and the numbers go up, I think it's good for this deal to go forward. So, yeah, now if they're going silence, they're going they're just
they're signing papers,
putting gag orders on things right now.
Yeah. And then the Lauren Schuler Donner, I don't know if she's a producer of most of the X-Men films and wife of Richard Donner, who did the early Superman movies, said this week that she would love to have the X-Men join the MCU. So maybe that's some hope.
Yeah. I like how you did bring up their streaming catalog. Could you imagine how much that the Disney streaming catalog would explode if they had all of the rights to all the Fox movies? I'm sure there'll be some wishy-washy rights deals things with some movies, but yeah, at first they were just oh yeah, it's just going to be all the Disney movies that we have. It's going to be a streaming service. Oh, we can go ahead and double our library just by purchasing all of Fox's stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, and definitely a lot more variety for the non Disney person, I guess. Someone who likes to watch their action movies. And stuff like that would definitely probably be oh, okay, I can deal with this, and then share it with someone else in their family who maybe has kids. Split the cost of a streaming service.
Yeah, let's just hope Hollywood doesn't burn and turn into rubble after all this.
No, it's got to happen, man. We got to have a good Fantastic Four movie for the.
They got to compete with Snapchat and social media.
Yes,
that's
sure.
what the kids are watching.
It's what they're watching. Also, kids are watching in less than 2 weeks. Star Wars.
Ooh,
Star Wars.
I just like it when you say Star Wars to me, Chris.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of Star Wars news. Daisy Ridley confirmed she only wants to do 3 Star Wars movies. I think she's just talking. I think it's all talk.
I saw people just way overreact to the news this week. They heard that news and everybody bit. They went crazy like piranhas in like a pool of chum. They're going like, oh my gosh, she's only going to be 3 movies. Oh, what's going to happen at the end of this movie? It's just like, well, okay, just settle down, people. Just relax.
Yeah, I mean,
this is just
an actor trying to get more money, or like them saying like, you cannot say what happens after this because someone may die in the end of 3 and you have to pretend everybody's dead. Or you're not
and also, I'm sure her contract is only for 3 movies. So, of course, she's only thinking about to the end of her contract. She's been in other stuff. She was in that Midnight Express movie.
Orient Express.
Orient Express, whatever. And I'm sure she's got other movies that I'm sure she's gets every script in the world sent to her agent. So I'm sure she has every pick of the litter that she wants. So, yeah, I'm sure this is just she's not sure. You know, don't you remember when Chris Evans said this like 18 movies ago? Yeah. And he's been Captain America forever now. I think just, sometimes actors get a little restless. They're humans. They're creative types. They'll just say whatever. I mean,
they're in the middle of a Star Wars like news frenzy. So they're probably like much like Ben Affleck. We don't want to hear about Star Wars right now. Like, no, this is it. You're pissing me off. I don't want to do it anymore.
The second movie is not even out yet. We haven't even seen the majority of the movies that she signed up for yet. We've only seen a third of them. So, yeah. A little crazy, but this is just a good opportunity to say I'm excited to see Star Wars. And I purchased my, I said a while ago that I bought my tickets, but I bought them for my backup theater because my primary theater, the show time that I wanted was sold out. So I'm closely monitoring my theater's website. It's a good thing to do because I think a lot of theaters will add new shows like exactly a week before the movie premieres because they kind of know what tickets they have and haven't sold. So if you're out there still trying to get your Star Wars tickets, I would say a week before this movie comes out, go back and look for tickets again. There might be a new inventory out there. So I don't even care if I can get my money back or not for my backup theater. Like I'm trying to get to my nice reclining seats, Chris. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, that's good because I took the day off that Star Wars is coming out because I have to use up my vacation days for the end of the year. Oh. And I'm going to go wait in line because they didn't have reserved seats at mine. So I'm going to spend a lot of my time at that theater making sure I get the seats I want. So.
Make some friends and borrow their iPhones and manually subscribe them to the podcast.
I will. I'm going to take a bunch of cards. I'm going to, maybe get some. Hey, what's your favorite Star Wars line? What's your favorite Star Wars line, Mike?
It's like back in the day when you used to be at a bar and you're like talking to a lady and you're just like, oh, let me give you my number. And then they hand them your phone and then you put your number in their phone. Now it's just like, hey, can I have your phone? I'm going to put my podcast in your phone. No, I don't want you to have my number. Just listen to my podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to just put it in here. All nice. Nice.
And I'll go ahead and review it for you too.
Yeah. Do you think Conchat first? Huh? Do you? Or maybe we don't want you listening to our show, actually. Here, let me take that off there. So, No, it's cool. So, Star Wars is coming out. We're less than 2 weeks away. S.H.I.E.L.D. had a TV spot in it online, so you can't avoid TV spots if you're watching TV at this point. So, just tune off as much as you can and keep your blinders on. So, if you don't want to hear about Star Wars, go look at your politics, because there's no Star Wars over there. We should have brought this up earlier, but this Infinity War trailer that's just still on our mind right now. I'm thinking about it. You're thinking about it. Was so big. Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom somehow did not get their trailer out this week on Thursday because, of course, they're like, oh, we did some stuff and we need to change it. And no, we know what happened. Infinity War eclipsed your trailer, and you don't want to play anywhere near that.
Yeah, this was funny because this was part of a larger conversation that me and you and friend of the show Quentin Parker were having in a text message thread last week, where we were scrupulously analyzing everything coming out of the Russo brothers' Instagram account, because they were putting out these cryptic images of like these personified numbers with eyeballs and limbs of like, oh, that's a 3. Oh, what does that mean? Oh, that means we're 3 weeks away from Avengers. No, that means it's coming out on December 3rd. No, but that'd be a Sunday. That'd be kind of weird. and then they dropped to 2. We're like, oh my god, it's a countdown, it's coming out in a day. But then the numbers didn't really match up. But then you're like, but no, the Jurassic World trailer is supposed to be coming out on Thursday, so they wouldn't do it on Thursday. And then Avengers comes out on Wednesday, and then we don't hear a peep from Jurassic World. It was just hilarious.
And then someone was like, I think the director went online and was like, yeah, we're still working on it. And I'm like, no, we know better.
Sure.
Yep, okay, whatever. So I think it's out this coming Thursday now. So I think they're still trying to get it out before Star Wars.
I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out on Monday, to be honest. You could be listening to the podcast right now and go watch this trailer.
Yeah, so it'll definitely be before Star Wars. They're going to have like, you know what? There will probably be more Star Wars or more trailers before Star Wars than there was that stupid Frozen short before Coco that was 21 minutes long. So
it's like the Super Bowl, man. Everybody wants their commercial in front of the kickoff.
That's right, and it'll be the same way for Infinity War. It'll swap back the other way. Masters of the Universe. Are you a big He-Man fan, Mike?
Are there a lot of big He-Man fans out there, Chris?
I hear a lot in the comic book store, to be honest. So
oh wow, all right.
People love that. Bad news for you guys. David S. Goyer is in closing talks to direct this film for Sony. That's two negative things in one sentence here. So
when I hear his name, it's like Jerry Seinfeld when he hears about Newman. I'm like, Goyer, damn it! What are you doing in my comic book stuff?
Yeah. So there's an old Masters of the Universe movie, I think from like the 80s. I believe it had Courtney Cox in it and Dolph Lundgren. Wow. And it's very campy. Very, very campy. This one, I mean, they've had years to work. I think this is going to be one of those mediocre movies if they do it. So, like, probably...
They should do it. I mean, it's Goyer, so it's not going to happen, but they should have done this like 21 Jump Street style. I think it's a little too I think it's a little too cheesy to take it too seriously.
Yeah, like you can't make it like hard and gritty and then be like, yeah, this is Masters of the Universe. We have man-y faces. You know why? Because he has many faces. It just doesn't work. Oh well. But Sony's still chugging along. They've got that. They've got Venom. We got a new photo of Venom of Tom Hardy. It looks like a tactical suit here. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with the Agent Venom character in the comic books, Mike?
Yeah, I've seen him on comic book covers. I think he popped up in a run of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
A couple years ago, or it seems more recent than that, but I think it actually was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. So in this one, Flash Thompson was a military man, and then he lost his legs in like an IED explosion. They come back. They've weaponized the Venom suit. They know how to control it for like certain periods of time, so it bonds with Flash, and he becomes Agent Venom. They use it for like Black Ops and military stuff. So
it's funny, if we were talking about a Venom TV show, I would totally think the Agent Venom suit would be exactly what they would do, because it's very low budget. You're basically just looking at like a black tactical suit with maybe some special effects on the face. But in a high budget movie, I don't think they're going to go that way. We want to see the big, organic, gooey, dripping Venom suit, and he's going to be like 8 feet tall or whatever. So I think there'll be shades of Agent Venom, but probably not a lot.
So the thing with the Agent Venom, he can only control it for like a certain number of hours at a time. Mm-hmm. So if he doesn't, it will revert back into the big gooey, like flesh eating version. So
yeah, that's what I want. I want him to see him eat some flesh, eat some puppies.
Yeah. Whoa. So yeah,
if we're getting this movie, I want it like rated R.
Yeah. Gross. So we could see shades of both of these in there if he reverts back and like doesn't control it very well. So I'm to me in my head, I'm imagining some sort of, this is the Hulk movie but with Venom, where like he turns into like the big black gooey version.
Oh my gosh, Chris! If the Hulk could fight Venom, that would be amazing.
Yeah, or the Hulk and the Venom merged.
Oh my gosh, Chris, get out of my head.
Yeah, I can't help it. I can't help it, buddy. That's a fanfic we need to write right now. Also on Sony's radar is the Silver and Black movie, and they've hired some people. Sheena Duggal, who did the Doctor Strange VFX, and Ruth Carter, who did the Black Panther costumes, are coming to work on the film. Yeah. Sheena Duggal, I don't know how to say it. Her work on Doctor Strange is phenomenal. That movie is a mind trip to watch, and Black Panther costumes look pretty good. So This is, I mean, good news for a movie that nobody asked for, you know. So
yeah, I guess that's what we should call our segments when we talk about Venom and Silver and Black. Movies nobody asked for, but hey, it's turning out all right.
Well, I mean, I don't have this on our notes here, but it sounds like Gambit's pushed back another month and won't start till March. So good news. Nobody asked for movies. Nobody asked for
that movie's not coming out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not. That's why Disney's trying to buy up Fox before the end of the year, so they can be like, no. So yeah, you're right. We just have a whole section called "Good News for Movies Nobody Asked For." Titans. We talked about that at the top of the show. Another TV show in our TV thing here. We have our first image of Brenton Thwaites in a Robin costume. Mm-hmm. Supposedly he's playing Nightwing in the show, so why he's dressed up as Robin might be flashbacks or maybe an origin of him. So
well, we do know over at Berlanti, I guess when they're making Arrow, they started that show out where Arrow had his suit. He was like the hero of Star City or whatever. Was it Star City or is it Central? It was Central City. I think
it wasn't Star City until later, was it? I thought they changed the name of it, or maybe it started off as Star.
Yeah, I don't know.
Starling City?
Either way, he started as a hero, and then in flashbacks, they told his past. But looking at this suit, this is a very polished, refined Robin suit. This is something that this character has worn for a while and has fought in. So it makes sense that this would be probably his last iteration of the Robin suit until he dons his new persona of Nightwing.
Yeah, and what's good about seeing this reminds me of, I know people love it, the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin kind of suit.
Yeah, it does look like that.
It's got that, but I mean, at the same time, it shows Batman is in this world. Like if he was Robin, he definitely had to work for Batman. So.
I'm getting flashbacks of the montage. I don't remember what Batman movie it was.
Batman and
but
Robin.
I think it's like really super close up, and like you see Batman's like crotch rotate towards the screen as he's holding his utility belt, and I think like you're seeing all the close ups of the suit. I can't get that crotch out of my mind.
Oh well, there's the one where he turns around and it's just ass, straight.
Oh
ass.
yeah, his butt. I remember that.
I'm pretty sure that was Batman and Robin because they had Batgirl in it as well, and they definitely did that with her. So
that was a gratuitous. They're like, okay, well, we want to show off Batgirl's assets, but it can't be too obvious, so just sandwich it with a bunch of Batman butt.
Yeah. That's right, exactly. And the bat nipples. Gotta have the bat nipples.
Bat nips.
Mm-hmm. So that's coming out. That should debut on the DC streaming service. So if they're filming this, that means that streaming service is right around the corner, Mike. So we'll keep you posted as we hear that. And you might get to watch Arrow on there, but I doubt it. CW is holding on to this show like nothing else. The Crisis on Earth X ending of this Arrowverse crossover convinced the Arrow Reddit page to change to the Punisher. They're so mad at it.
Yeah, they've done this in the past before where, the audience just gets so mad at kind of just like this poor fan service that the show is trying to do that I think they rebranded the theme of the page to Daredevil because they're like, hey, this is a much better show that's going on right now. And I guess maybe they got some good faith back and it went back to Arrow, and now they just decided, no, let's change it to the Punisher. Basically, what happened was... two characters in the show ended up getting married, which I don't follow Arrow anymore, but apparently it was just out of pace, shouldn't have happened, very weird. But it was funny, you asked me kind of like what I thought about Crisis on Earth X because I watched it last week, and I had a very strange review of it where you were just like, oh yeah, people say they hated the ending and a lot of the special effects were bad or something like that, and I was just like, well yeah, I hated about half of the characters and the ending was awful. But most of it was pretty good. So there's a pretty low bar, I think, for these crossovers, especially comparing it to last year. Last year's crossover was an abomination. I hated it.
Did you just review the Arrowverse crossover or Justice League? Because it sounds about the same.
Well, it's the economy's tight right now, so I have to double up on my reviews. I can't produce too many; it's too expensive. But yeah, it was fun. There was some interesting stuff happening. Since I don't watch Supergirl and I don't really watch Arrow anymore, like the Red Tornado shows up in the crossover. It's like, oh shit, the Red Tornado. Even though I think I know he's been in Supergirl, so it's just kind of cool to see him showing up, and the Flash fights him a little bit. So there's fun things going on there. If you like the the Flash. There's good Flash stuff happening in there. So, my wife doesn't keep up with Arrow at all. We don't watch Supergirl. We've seen like a sliver of Legends of Tomorrow, and we still had a good time watching it. So just lower your expectations to the ground, and I think you'll have a good time. I think I would grade it right about at a solid C-. It didn't fail, but it's definitely not getting extra credit.
All right. I heard there were a lot of girls hooking up in this one, so
Oh yeah, because
it.
it's just like, you have your token lesbian from one CW show and your token lesbian from the other CW show. So of course, if they cross paths, they have to get in bed together. So I don't know if that's going to anger people out there or not, but I guess
not as much as the heterosexual wedding at the ending.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So, man, that sounds like a mess. All right, cool.
Oh yeah, it was crazy, but if you didn't like last year's crossover, you might like this year's crossover.
Okay, well that sounds like improvement then. So yeah, we'll go with that.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're a big fan of John Cena, Mike. A big fan of John Cena. You've been pushing him on all sorts of shows and stuff. But apparently, this is one of those situations where actors put stuff up about a show and character, whether they're campaigning for it or not. Usually, if they put it up, I feel like they're not going to be that role.
Yeah, it never happens.
But John Cena put a Watchmen button and then Dr. Manhattan, and we know they're casting for the Watchmen TV series.
Oh my God!
So would you see
John
Cena with Dr. Manhattan?
Well, Dr. Manhattan, it's about the goofiest thing that I can think of. But oh my God, I would watch the shit out of that. That's just hilarious.
So people are like, oh, they're gonna cast him. I'm like, well, he put it up on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh my gosh,
so he's not probably gonna be that role, but.
Well, it's just really funny because I think instantly you start to think of like the physique. You think like, oh, Dr. Manhattan's like buff and ripped, John Cena's buff and ripped. But don't forget, Dr. Manhattan is a very intelligent scientist. Can you imagine John Cena trying to deliver those lines? Like, too funny.
Yeah, walking around naked for most of the show. And he's like, I don't have to wear anything on this show. I just walk around naked.
Well, hey, man, it's HBO, so there's going to be dick in this show.
Oh, there's going to be so many naked people all over that Watchmen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But speaking of wrestlers and movies, Shazam has some news here. Apparently, Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam will not appear in the Shazam movie, but is instead focused on the solo movie for Black Adam.
Oh, all right. I mean, I'm really confused about all the Shazam stuff. I'm even more confused about the future of Warner Brothers. So I just kind of, I raise my hands and okay, I don't know. My shoulders are shrugged.
Okay,
what's going on here?
All right, whatever you want to do, guys. Doesn't sound like a good decision. And people are not onto this. They think Black Adam is very essential to Shazam and like that character that they should be in there, and not in there, not in Suicide Squad 2. But so yeah, that's kind of like the fan reaction. I heard they're not very happy on this, and where do these other movies even fit into it on the whole? So.
Chris, we're one news segment away from what I've been waiting for.
Is it name a movie Harley Quinn isn't in? Because Harley Quinn is working on a standalone film now, as well as Suicide Squad and a Harley Joker love story movie, and
all of the other DC movies that are slated to happen.
Yeah, so if you like Harley Quinn and you like was it Margot Robbie? Is that her name?
Yep, that's her name.
I was like, am I saying it backwards or forwards? Because it's like technically two first names, man. I don't trust people with two first names. So there's that. All right, fine. We'll get to the point. Batman Ninja. I don't know what the fuck this is. I have no clue.
We made it. I'll let the listeners out there know what's going on here. So yeah, this Batman Ninja trailer dropped kind of just very unceremoniously last week, and I watched it. And when it was over, I was just like, oh my God. If I got to this before Chris, I'm gonna make him watch it on the show, just because it's just so crazy and ridiculous. So that's what we did. So you haven't seen it yet, and we're gonna watch it on the show. This is a first. Usually you're the one that's that's in the know, and now I am.
Yeah. So all right. So I'm gonna watch Batman Ninja. We're gonna watch it live here. All right. So get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. What the actual fuck just happened here?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we did that.
Oh my God, I have to go back. Hold on. I know we're recording this, guys, but Batman says this is excellent about some tea. What is going on here, Mike?
I think I think the best part about this trailer is it's all in Japanese, so it's like you don't get any sort of English voice acting. It's all subtitled. And I think the best moment in the trailer is just, you think you're in like this feudal era of Japan. You know, you don't really know exactly what's going on, if there's time travel involved, or he's just really getting into his trip to Japan, really going all out, putting on this samurai armor. But just there happens to be a giant mech arm that shows up in the middle of this, because of course you can't have something come out of Japan without a giant robot in it.
Oh my gosh, Mike, what? This hurts so bad. I'm gonna have to watch the Infinity War trailer at least 3 times to get this out of my head. But like, I don't like. Did you see Robin's haircut?
Oh yeah, he's like half bald. It's like, and he looks like he's supposed to be a kid. I don't know what's going on.
He's got like, imagine a bald man, bald on top, but hair on the sides, but then a mohawk down the middle of it. What is going on? We got a poster here, so I'm looking at this poster here, just trying to make sense of what's going on here. But it's got a bunch more villains we didn't see in the trailer. So Joker, obviously, Harley Quinn, Gorilla Grodd. It looks like Two-Face, Poison Ivy, the Penguin, and is that Deathstroke?
I don't know.
It's like a Deathstroke mask.
I think one of my other favorite parts is how Alfred is totally unchanged. Like everybody else has donned this persona, and Alfred's just like, nope, still an English butler. Doesn't look like I've changed in like 80 years.
He's got Catwoman. It looks like Red Robin. Is that the Red Hood with a big basket on his head over here?
Oh my god, I think you're right. Oh my god,
because he's got guns, and I think the Red Hood uses guns. And then
it's just this cross fan fiction turned to life. So I think around Comic-Con they released a poster for this movie, but it was more drawn and more of a 2D flat art style. So when I clicked play on this trailer, I had no idea this was going to be like a computer generated thing, which makes it seem even weirder because it seems very up to date, highly polished, like 3D models, but then they have like this feudal era. It's just this is the weirdest trailer I think I'm going to watch all year.
Oh my gosh. I mean, looking at the comments, these people are stupid. They're like, oh, why can't these people run DC's live action movies? What?
What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh, I don't like the way they all run is like typical Japanese running, like Naruto style. Man, I don't know what I watched. Like you've sent me on a ride, and this is called an unexpected chemical reaction. So, whoa, wow.
Yeah, go ingest that, people.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to experience it. That's the only word I can use.
It's like a thrill ride, man.
So, okay, back to Netflix. Stranger Things season 3 has officially been announced by Netflix.
Not surprised.
So they said they're working on the Duffy brothers. Want to do 4 seasons?
The Duffer brothers. There's an awesome interview with them on the Nerdist podcast where they kind of talk about, you know, their history of like loving movies and stuff like that, and going through getting this deal of making Netflix and Stranger Things together. And they said on there that they're feeling like it could be 4 or 5 seasons. They know where the story should end. They just don't know exactly how long it's going to take them to get there. So not surprised to see season 3. I mean, this is a freaking gold mine for Netflix. This is like, I would say Stranger Things is basically Netflix's Game of Thrones at this point. Like nothing's bigger on Netflix right now than Stranger Things.
Yeah, they tend to have like one really, really good show or movie a month, and then like sprinkling of other originals. I think that the show Dark just came out this week on Netflix.
Yeah, I think I heard some buzz about that. I haven't seen the trailer. I got to go check that out.
They said if you like Stranger Things and then like the It movie and stuff like that, like it kind of feels in that vein a little bit. So I know that's out. We're in December officially. That means Bright is coming out this month on Netflix as well.
Yeah, that's true. The big budget.
We get to see Will Smith fight against orcs with the magic wand from the director of Suicide Squad. So yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
It might be well. There's no studio interference. It might be really good. So we'll keep you guys posted because we'll probably watch that. I'll probably watch it. I don't know if Mike will. But one of the main breakout stars of Stranger Things is David Harbour, and he was going on to play Hellboy in the Hellboy movie, which we've seen. Looks amazing. And they have an official release date of January 11th, 2019. So
January. This is very interesting. Just because this is being projected for January. This isn't something that got dumped in January unceremoniously. So that means that Hollywood is trying to redefine the month of January. It's not just for movies that didn't quite make it into the Oscar season. It's not for like random like movies that were supposed to be summer blockbusters that just couldn't quite cut it. So this is an interesting move. Like, you don't reboot a comic book franchise with a star like David Harbour and put him in January for no reason.
Yeah, and it's definitely, I think it's an R-rated film. So, as you know, February is now like the new home for R-rated movies. So they're trying to maybe push those, I guess, slower months into the R-rated audience into those slower months where kids probably won't go. So, but that's really all our news for this week, Mike. I mean, we spent most of it talking about Infinity War, then you made me watch this stupid
so we
ass
should
Batman
have,
trailer, and now we're at the end. So.
Yeah, well, it's been a great show.
I know. If people want to know what you're up to, I know you took the liberty of putting some stuff on our Instagram when Infinity War came out, so really love that. If people want to see what you're up to and other stuff you post online, where can they find you at?
Well, they can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to follow you and see what you're up to, where can they get that?
You can find me on Twitter at Valdan, Valdan. Boom, roasted. That's it. No, I'm kidding. There's more. You can go over to Comic UI and read stuff on there. You can hit up my other show, Filmside Chats, or head over to YouTube and search the DNN and watch the videos I do there. I'm actually headed over to another podcast tonight called Nerdstalgia to talk about movie tropes. So,
oh, popular, aren't you?
Yes, people want to know my opinion, Mike, and trust me, I have opinions. So yeah, so whenever, I don't know when that show's posted, but I'll probably be on our next show. I'll let you guys know where that is. So there's
nice.
If people are listening to us for the first time, maybe they're new listeners and want to know more about what we do and where they can find us at, where can they do that?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues we host our show, which is pretty much everywhere we can. And you can also get our awesome show notes there. So we talked about that leaked San Diego Comic-Con Infinity War trailer. That's been online since September, and nobody knew it. So we got the link to that in our show notes. Also, that Vanity Fair article, if you want to see what that villain, Lady Gorgon, is going to look like, we got a link to that in our show notes, so go check those out. You can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher. You can subscribe and get us right in your email inbox every week. You can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and, like Chris said, Instagram. If you want to pick up some Superhero Slate shirts, some merch, I think we got some new designs coming out soon, so you want to stay tuned for that. You can find that at superheroslate.com/store. If you're a fan of the show, please consider leaving a review to wherever you listen to it. That's super awesome. That's like the best gift you could give us for the holidays. If you like the show, just leave us a review. We love that. I think if I had to choose, iTunes would probably be the best, but I don't know. If you're a Stitcher freak, you can go ahead and stay on Stitcher and review it there. And I say freak in a loving, longing term. So
you're running off our listeners
there
already, Mike.
Yeah. No, and if you're if you want to be a super fan of the show, just share this show with a friend, share the show with a buddy when you see the family this holidays, and we will be here every week, sometimes twice a week, because that Star Wars, that review's coming out soon.
Yes. Now our next review episode will be Star Wars. I don't think anything else is coming out, and then I mean, I can't even imagine beyond that. So I'm really excited for Star Wars. So awesome, Mike. Well, I guess we'll be back next week. We'll see you guys then.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
6 actors say this line. 6 Infinity Stones, Mike.